Hi there, my name is Annette Salmon, and today I'll be sharing with you one key strategy that, if applied properly, if thought through properly, will help you to explode sales in your business. This may sound like it's too good to be true, but it works. So, the strategy is the ability to identify your ideal customer avatar, the same thing that is known as your buyer persona or your ideal target. Now, as a business owner, as a company, you need to nail this down properly. You need to figure out who it is you're serving. You need to understand that person so that you can literally find more of that person or more of that company. So let us look at three pillars. So whether you're a business in the business to business market, meaning that as a business you serve another business, or if you're in the business to consumer market, meaning that as a business you serve the consumers, the end users, then it doesn't matter. These principles will still apply. Now, the three pillars I love to talk about for identifying or refining or detailing your ideal avatar are: one, the demographics; two, psychographics; and three, their story. So the demographics has to do with things like age, sex, meaning male or female, income, education, geographic location, where they live, the type of housing, number of persons in the family, whether the kids are, what you call it there now, how many girls, how many boys, the kids, whether they are going to school, what school they're going to. All of those issues are things that you would now need to figure out once you're identifying that target. Also, the status of the target. Are they single, married, divorced? All of those things are related to the demographic aspect of identifying your ideal target. And then the second pillar that we look at is the psychographics. Psychographics include things like values. What do they care about? What are their lifestyle? What are their buying behavior? How do they buy? How do they shop? How often do they do it? What are their interests? All of those things are now the psychographic part of the pillar that we're looking at. And then finally, their story. What is the customer story? What are their needs? What are their wants? And is your product or service able to fulfill that need or want? How did they operate before finding your product and service? Now that they have used your product or service, is there any difference in how they operate? Has it served them well? Did it make a difference? What kind of a difference it made? What are they saying about your product or service? Are they talking about you? Are they happy? Will they go back? Will they ever use you again? So those are the three things that you need to consider when looking at your ideal customer avatar. And some of you may just be going into business, or you may be in business for like maybe 1 or 2 years, 1 to 3 years, and you're still trying to figure out, what's your sweet spot, who should you really, really be fine-tuning and going after in a very deep, penetrated way. Or some of you may, coming out of this whole COVID crisis, some of you may be revamping and saying, okay, so these are the people who I used to serve, but they are not the people who I want to serve going forward. Or it could be that coming out of COVID too, your product or service has tweaked somewhat. Maybe you now have to add a different line, maybe have to change the size, you may have to change color, you may have to change consistency of it. Those are all things that you have to look at. Is your business the same coming out of COVID, and are there things that you now need to do to be able to harness or to get deeper involved with your ideal avatar? So now that we've looked at the pillar and we've distinguished whether or not it is a B2B market or a B2C market, what is the benefit of knowing your ideal customer? What would it cost you for not knowing your ideal customer is what I normally like to ask. What would it cost you? For some people, it costs a lot, meaning that if you're wasting your time chasing everybody you're doing just that. You're wasting your precious time and resources, because everybody cannot be your ideal customer. So if you're busy going after everybody, you're actually targeting no one. And the thing with when you are able to identify your ideal target is that you are now able to shape your promotional programs, your advertising programs, your content. You're able to shape all of those with that person or that company in mind. So when you do your promos, you're speaking to the heart and the soul of that individual, of that company. You're talking directly to them. And when you do that, they are now able to relate to what you're doing, because you're now speaking to their heart. You're now speaking to their soul. So it resonates with them and they take action. But if you're targeting everybody, it's impossible for you to be able to develop a promotional campaign or an ad or a flyer that speaks to everybody. And if you try to do it, it's going to be major confusing. So identifying your ideal customer, your ideal target, your buyer persona helps a lot in you shooting straight for the target. As the word target suggests, it's going straight to a point. So say, for example, you play dart. You know, you have a dartboard, and we all know what a dartboard looks like, and it has the various circles going around and around and around, and it has that one focal point in that middle, where if it is that you land on that, you know you have hit the heart of it and you've now won your game. That is the same principle that applies when you are when you're looking at the buyer persona and what that equates to in your business. So I say this all the time: identify your target, identify that person or that company properly, and once you do that, you can double and triple your sales immediately. I've proven it, my clients have proven it, it has worked for many people, and it can work for you too. All right, so get on that and see the difference it makes in your business.